All right, ladies, once again, thank you from Vermilion as you take a look from Skyline Drive out over the skyline of Rapid City. Beautiful sight out there tonight. Plenty of snow in the Black Hills. The skiers loving it. Golf course people hating it. But we're back inside live, the Rapid City Rushmore Plaza Civic Center. And DeSmet, the #1 team in the state in Class A, the #1 seed in the tournament, coming in here. They are 20-1, just one loss this year, and that was to Castlewood, the state B champions. Milbank comes in at 14-7, the #8 seed in the tournament. But they had a little run where they had some guys suspended and lost some games, and it took them a while to get back on track. We'll talk more about that as the game gets going on here. 3 teams have advanced into the state semifinals tomorrow night. Custer beat Harrisburg this afternoon. Whoa. Richard Pryor in the house. Custer beat Harrisburg 55-52 earlier this afternoon. In the second game this afternoon, it was West Central over Scotland 70-58. And in our first game tonight, Little Wound in a thriller beat Cheyenne Eagle Butte 55-50. So Little Wound into the state semifinals, and they await the winners of this dogfight. The Bulldogs from DeSmet against the Bulldogs from Milbank. DeSmet got by Hamlin in the district championship game 50-49 and then rolled over Sioux Valley in the region championship game. But the Bulldogs of DeSmet rated #1 pretty much most of the season. And they come back into the tournament. They were here last year, finished 3rd in the state tournament last year. They've got a trio of players, much like Cheyenne Eagle Butte, the team we just saw. 3 guys about 6'5", in Jared Gass and Corey Roth and Todd Skyberg. And you see them underneath the hoop there. 3 seniors at 6'5" that really carry most of the load for DeSmet.
And like Cheyenne Eagle Butte, DeSmet wants to get it done this year. That starting lineup loaded up with seniors. And they want to complete the run after going 20-1. You look at this game, a #1 against a #8 seed, you kind of think it's going to be one-sided, but it'll be kind of hard to top that first game tonight, but this one should be good nevertheless. You look at Milbank coming in, pretty even scoring throughout the starting 5. The Mountain Dew Road to the A's for the Milbank Bulldogs. They come in 14-7. Boyd Sussex, the head coach, 11th tournament appearance. 1967 State A champs. They come out of the District 1 championship. They defeat the Sisseton Redmond 63-57, and they're Region 1 champs with a overtime winner over Aberdeen Roncalli. Milbank coming in 14-7. Meanwhile, the top-ranked and top-seeded DeSmet Bulldogs coming in 20-1. Marv McCune, 19th tournament appearance for DeSmet, as Tom mentioned, 3rd place finish last year after being beat by Lennox in the semifinals. They come out of District 3. They beat Hamlin by 1 point for the District 3 championship. In Region 2, they defeat Sioux Valley by 20. And they enter the tournament as the top seed, the 20-1 record.
And Hamlin's got to be sitting at home thinking, what if? Apparently they had a shot to win that game. It was 50-49. DeSmet had the lead with a couple of seconds left. Hamlin had a 10-foot shot that looked like it was on, according to a bunch of DeSmet fans we talked to here. But DeSmet survived that game in the district championship, won it by a point, and they get back to the state tournament. Marv McCune, we saw Larry Luchins of Custer this afternoon in the first game, and Marv McCune played for Larry Luchins when Larry was the coach back at DeSmet, when DeSmet won back-to-back state championships in 69 and 70. So he has learned from the best. His 17th season at DeSmet, and he brings the Bulldogs in here as the #1 seed. Milbank comes in 14-7, and we were talking to Boyd Sussex a little bit. He was giving us some grief about, you going to give us a chance? How big underdogs are we coming into this thing? And we told him, you got no chance. But Milbank, better than that 14-7 record would indicate. They had 3 starters that were suspended for violation of team rules about midway through the season. They lost all 3 of those games when those 3 players sat out, and consequently their record not as stellar as you would think it would be for a state tournament team, but they are a very good team coming in at 14-7. They have a great player in Shane Storm, who is averaging 28 points a game in the playoffs. Let's meet the starting lineups for DeSmet and Milbank.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second game of the evening session of the 1999 Class A Boys State Basketball Tournament. Introducing first, the Milbank Bulldogs. Cheerleaders, Jessica Koltman, Maggie Peters, Sarah Biersbach, Cassie Schulke, and Kelly Torchia. Advisor, Kathy Sussex. Introducing the reserves for the Milbank Bulldogs. Tom Kreitner, Dustin Henze, I'm sorry he was a starter. That's my mistake. Mark Burgers, or excuse me, Tom Kreitner, Jared Dahl, Steve Swenson, Tyler DeBoer, Adam Lewenko, James Zemlicka, and Sean Zemlicka. And now the starters. Number 15, Dustin Henze. Number 31, Shane Storm. Number 43, Dan Volkanite. 45, Dustin Odegaard. And number 55, Jeff Davis. Assistant coach, Rick Swenson. And coached by Boyd Sussex. And now for the DeSmet Bulldogs. Cheerleaders, Kathy Reeder, Alyssa Cyber, Brandy Warney, Shannon Smith, Jenny Pecketbaugh, and Erica Halverson. Advisor, Shelley Ostis. The reserves for DeSmet: Mark Burgers, Jordan Warney, Josh Palmer, Derek Larson, Dustin Halverson, Dustin McEwen, and Jake Anderson. Starting tonight's ball game for the DeSmet Bulldogs. Number 22, George Molnar. Number 24, Todd Skyberg. Number 30, Casey Schultz. Number 32, Jared Gass. And number 50, Corey Roth. DeSmet's assistant coaches, Jim Altenberg, Dave Carmen, Troy Sturgeon. Head coach, Mar McEwen. Tonight's officials, Terry Nebosek and Mark Koopman.
DeSmet will come out in the gold uniforms. Milbank in the maroon. The big three for DeSmet: Jared Gass, Corey Roth, Todd Skyberg. Those 6'5" seniors average 41 points between the three of them per ball game. Milbank with the big man inside, Jeff Davis. Listed at 6'5", but he looks a couple inches at least taller than Corey Roth, and Davis will jump it up, and they control it. The Milbank Bulldogs do to Dustin Henze. He is the point guard. Shane Storm is the big scorer.
And if you're the Milbank Bulldogs, you just want to keep it close, especially here in the first half of this game, and that's what you don't want to do, is start the game with a turnover. But if you don't watch out, quick turnover, quick foul.
Track star George Molnar ran that one down. He's actually a great cross-country runner. Always in the top couple in the state, and he ran that one down.
Ran that one down, and Henze thought he was just going to go down and tap it for the over and back, but Molnar almost got down there for the easy layup.
Molnar, the lefty senior point guard, averages 7 a game, distributes the ball to the big fellas, the big three. Casey Schultz, the other starter in the yellow for DeSmet. Again for Milbank, it's Henze, Storm, Davis inside, and Odegaard and Volkanot at the forward positions. Molnar got them both 2-0 DeSmet. And again, DeSmet, the #1 team most of the year, #1 seed coming into the tournament. They're 20-1 with that one loss coming to Castlewood about 2/3 of the way through the season. 15 is Henze. Storm is 31. 43, this is Odegaard, Dustin Odegaard. Gets Milbank off to a good start. Looks like Milbank coming out boxing one on Todd Skyberg. This is Skyberg with the ball right here. Henze is guarding him man-to-man. The other 4 players in a diamond zone. Roth. Casey Schultz with his first bucket of the ball game. So the big guns yet to go off, but Molnar and Schultz with 2 apiece for DeSmet. A reach-in foul. It's going to go on Jared Gass.
DeSmet coming out playing some pressure defense there in the backcourt. A couple of quick fouls, but what got him here? High pressure defense caused some turnovers and get the upper hand in a hurry. See Corey Roth coming down at the rebound, leading the break, and
Molnar had it swatted away by Davis. Here's Storm, and he's in danger of it over and back, and there's no line that goes through the middle of the floor there, so made the pivot and turns it over. Molnar back the other way, and they stay in that diamond and one, chasing Todd Skyberg right out of the box.
A little shaky on both teams, as we've seen throughout this opening day here in the state tournament. Can he get a feel? Everybody but Cheyenne Eagle Butte. Cheyenne Eagle Butte came out ready to play and jumped out to a double-digit lead, but it didn't last long with Little Wound.
Schultz strips him clean in midcourt. Volkanot almost blocked it right into the hoop. There's Corey Roth on the offensive glass.
And there was a trio of big bodies banging the boards. Milbank bench, or the Smet bench, thought there should have been a foul somewhere along the line, but the good pick right there, the quick hands, eventually led to a foul, putting Roth on the line. Corey Roth shooting in the low 60s, 62% from the stripe.
First point for Roth. He averages 15 a game along with Skyberg. They lead DeSmet in scoring. 5-2 DeSmet. The Bulldog nickname will be unusable throughout the rest of the game.
I'll put my money on the Bulldogs.
Odegaard picked up the dribble, and again, Milbank against that pressure. Turns it back over. Roth inside. He has got some springs in his legs, but Davis with the denial.
Second big block down for Davis, and Milbank ends up throwing it away. They got a 3-on-2.
Skyberg for three. Got his own board. Nobody went after it for Milbank that time. Here's Gass. And Boyd Sussex, I think, had a case. He wanted to travel that time. They didn't call it. Gass gets the hoop. 7-2, DeSmet.
Gass, good job pulling down his own rebound and getting it back up before the defense caught up with him. About a second behind his shot, and it goes in. DeSmet extends their lead to 5.
And so far, Shane Storm has, I don't think, had a touch on the offensive end. Volkanot looking at it. Volkanot inside. He got fouled.
Heard in the background, Boyd Sussex trying to get a timeout before the shot went up, but trying to get something set up.
An official timeout coming up shortly after the free throws here. Dan Volkanot, 6'3" senior. And he has all 3 Milbank points to this point. There's marvelous Marv McCune, 17th year at DeSmet, 18th year overall. He was at Bristol for a year before that. Slowly climbing up the all-time win list in South Dakota. Volkanot got them both, 7-4 DeSmet in the first. Of that game reset coming out of each timeout. Give you the timeouts, the fulls, the 20s, the team fouls, and the possession arrow. Florida Gators won their game in the big dance tonight, first round of the NCAA tournament. Mike Miller from Mitchell did not start the ball game, ended up with 15 points, 7 rebounds, as the Gators move on with a win over Pennsylvania in the first round.
We gotta react! Double!
There's Roth, draws the double team out to Schultz. Schultz right to the front of the rim, and Casey Schultz has 4.
Milbank did a good job of dropping down, double teaming the ball, but Casey Schultz saw the opening after the double team, got the ball back, dribbled right into the paint for the layup.
Now here's Shane Storm. I want to get some shots for him. He's had 84 points in his last 3 games in the playoffs. An average of 28 a game. Wouldn't go that time for Volkanot. And here comes DeSmet the other way. Gass to Skyberg to Molnar, who will look to pass before he'll shoot. Roth inside. Gets it up over Big Davis. And Corey Roth, his first field goal.
Strong move by Corey Roth. He went down and faced up with a double team, and one of the Milbank Bulldogs dropped off. Made it easy for the big man.
Storm, his first field goal attempt is no good. Shane Storm averages 17 to lead Milbank, but the score, there's Skyberg. Back the other way, so all 5 DeSmet starters have scored now. Skyberg knocks down 3, and it's a 10-point lead for the #1 team in the state. 3:14 to play in the first.
It's a tradition in South Dakota.
A lot of Bulldog fans in the house tonight.
Those are the DeSmet variety. And their team leads it by 10 midway through quarter number 1. Henze to Storm, looking inside for Davis. He and Roth got a pretty good battle going in there. Out of bounds off DeSmet.
Bad decision by Volkanot there. Had a man open for a second, but Smet closed down on it. Knocked it out of bounds. Milbank will keep the ball.
Henze and Molnar, quick on quick. They do get it down low to Davis. Kind of lost the handle, though. Odegaard pulls up. Skyberg gets back up for the rebound. 2:35 to play, first quarter. Gass for 3. A little short. Davis with another rebound. Volkanot likes that slashing move. Roth got a piece of that one. Here's Gass. He's got Molnar and Roth. Corey Roth with the throwdown. Before the break, I was going to say, I remember last year's tournament, he had one just like that. Just a monster
And you
dunk.
kind of saw that coming. DeSmet came down, had a 3-on-1. They were just picking and choosing who would get it, and they get it to the big man with the throwdown.
He's got some great legs. And a 12-point lead now for DeSmet. Henze inside. They get it off to Davis, and it rolls out on him. Volkanot on the offensive glass.
Davis a little surprised when he got that pass, but he's got to be waiting for that. Casey Schultz has been guarding him, and he's got about a head over Schultz as you look at the big dunk by Corey Roth. And that lit up the place a little bit, maybe give DeSmet a little more spark. Not that they really need one, leading by a dozen. Make that 11 after the free throw by Volkanot.
Volkanot has been the offense for Milbank. He's got all 5 of their points. And it's a 16-5 lead for the #1 seed. Go ahead, Johnny.
Milbank dropped back into that zone offense, but DeSmet's been hitting them from the outside and from behind the arc here early on. As you watch Casey Schultz get inside for the... Let Jared Gass check that.
And it was all set up by the offensive board by Roth, who went up and made a man's rebound, ripped it down. Milbank turns it over again. A lot of arms and legs and armpits in that yellow defense for DeSmet. 1 minute to go in the first. DeSmet looking to put this one to bed early. Here's Molnar for 3. Right on line, and George Molnar has 5. He only scores 7 a game. He's got 5 already. It's a 21-5 lead.
But when you give George Molnar that much time to set up and just dial it in, he had all the time in the world. Nobody even contested it. He's going to hit those time and time again.
Time to draw a map on that one. 35 seconds to play in the quarter. Here's Volkanot looking for more offense. Steal by Skyberg. Storm chasing. Skyberg with the hoop. And they're just spreading it around amongst those starting 5 for DeSmet. 5 points for Skyberg, 5 for Roth, 5 for Molnar, 4 for the other 2. Adds up to 23 in the first quarter for DeSmet. Here comes Storm. Shane Storm got the roll on the pull-up, his first hoop. Molnar at the buzzer on the front of the rim, but DeSmet's Bulldogs come out charging 23-7 after 1. Well, if it's a dogfight, Milbank's a little bloody after that first quarter. DeSmet came out just spreading it around, laying it to him right now.
Spreading around is it. All 5 starters in the books, led by Todd Skyberg, George Molnar, Corey Roth, all with 5, and the other 2 starters, Schultz and Gass, both finished with 4. So kind of picking and choosing who they want to score, and shooting well from the field.
Mark Burgers comes in at the point guard spot for DeSmet. Derek Larson also in the lineup now for the guys in gold, and they go back into Jared Gass. He's got 6.
Jared Gass is quick off the dribble. He caught it down near the wing and dribbled down into the post. Quick turnaround, and the 2 from 2 out.
Tyler DeBoer and Steve Swenson on now for Milbank. Here's DeBoer. DeSmet brings that man-to-man way out above the three-point line. DeBoer for 3. Got a sweet roll out of it. Tyler DeBoer. Junior comes off the bench, gives him a little lift, gets him in double figures anyway at 11. Check that 10. Gass and Schultz, little 2-man game. Roth comes over now to post. Boy, Roth needs a little help. I think that's a double dribble.
He got away
Definitely
with it.
a double dribble. The defender had a hand on the ball, but it never came loose and hit the floor.
And Corey Roth will help Jeff Davis jog down as you take a look at the Norwest stat board from the first quarter. Milbank shooting 56% from the field, or DeSmet is. Milbank, meanwhile, is 25. You look at the turnovers all the way in the far right end, and DeSmet has turned those turnovers into points. That's a 14-point lead.
Roth's 2 wouldn't go, but Berger's rebound. Swenson and DeBoer kind of giving Milbank a lift off the bench. Swenson hit a 3 at the other end. Here's Roth. Again, got it up over Davis. 9 points now for Roth.
Corey Roth playing some strong hoops down in the blocks for DeSmet. It's almost been automatic here in the first half.
Storm thought about a 25-footer. Here's Volkanat.
Another bad pass by Milbank, and it's another turnover. It's a 3-on-2 for DeSmet, and
Derek Larson finishes it off.
it looks easy.
Boyd Sussex wants the 22nd timeout for Milbank. Larson will be at the free throw line. Boyd said they had a tough road to get here from the playoffs. They beat Britain in the first round, beat a good Sussex team by 6 in the district championship, and then had to go to overtime to beat Aberdeen and Roncalli to get here to the state tournament. So he thought his team was playing very well coming in. So they had a lot of good teams up there in the northeast corner of the state this year. Marv McCune, DeSmet has kind of bounced around from A to B over the years, and Marv says they just keep the same schedule. They play a lot of A teams anyway when they're a B team, so they just kind of keep that A schedule, and when they're in Class A,
Kind of like Lennox playing all the big schools down around Sioux Falls. In a way it's good, in a way it's bad. It's tough to come out with wins with those, but you know, when you look down the road at the districts and the regions, it's good practice for you.
Eric Larson averages 3. He's got 2 off the bench for DeSmet. 18-point lead. Here's DeBoer. Dustin McCune in there now for DeSmet. He's 42 in yellow. Volkanat goes by McCune. Dan Volkanat showing some pretty good moves on the drive. He's got 7 points.
Sweet move for the 6'3" senior. Changed the shot while he was up in the air and came up with the bucket off glass. Milbank's going to need to do a lot more of that. Get the high percentage shot instead of coming up with turnovers. Protect the ball on offense. Mentioned earlier, Milbank can't get too far behind against the top team in the state. Awfully tough to fight your way back.
Full passing game offense. Swing it. Different side of the floor. Look inside to Roth. Not there. Go back to the other side. Molnar on the drive. The pull-up won't go, and Volkanat rebounds. So they got to be patient. Milbank just got to play the defense. Crank it up a little on this end. Storm creates his own shot. Shane Storm with 4 now. And Martin McCune kind of feels the momentum changing a little bit.
Well, we saw it in the first game. Could we see it again after Giant Eagle Butte went out to that quick lead? Little Wound battled back, made a game out of it at half. This one was starting to get out of hand early, but now it's respectable. 14-point lead for DeSmet as Milbank puts together a little run.
Yeah, Milbank just didn't get a lot of shots and didn't make very many of them when they did get them in that first quarter. Down by 14, very much in the game, of course. You can get it untracked offensively. Played some pretty good defense the last 3-4 times down the floor. Now they go to a 1-1-3 zone. McCune for 3. Dustin McCune, the coach's kid, off the bench. Makes it a 17-point game.
One bad thing about that zone defense, if you have a good passing offense, if you don't stay on top of those rotations around the wing and you get caught on your heels, you leave a wide open 3, and that's what happened.
Storm for 3. Fading a little bit. That was off. Schultz boards. Roth to Molnar to Skyberg.
Come on, gotta be out the front, Steven.
McCune dialing it in again. Dustin McCune. Bang, bang, back-to-back threes. 19-point lead for DeSmet.
You heard Boyd Sussex from the sidelines on that last time down the court. He said, you got to get here. You got to beat the pass. You're going to get stung.
Was a 20-point lead, back to 17 as Swenson hits his second three off the bench. Kick ball. We're going to get a timeout on the floor with 2:56 to play before halftime. There's the game reset. DeSmet with a 17-point lead at the moment. And they have the basketball. Here's Molnar to Skyberg to Dustin McCune, who's come off the bench and hit back-to-back threes. Looking at it again, but tried to go low to Schultz, out of bounds off of Milbank. From the get-go, it's been the guys in gold. 23-7 lead after one quarter.
Milbank's out of that 1-3-1 zone, back in a man-to-man. Boyd Sussex thinking maybe it's a better way to defend that three-point shot.
And DeSmet now, Skyberg steps out. Got a blocking foul when they were trying to free him up. Going to go on Dustin McCune.
I was just going to say, I wonder how he got so wide open. And Dustin McCune with the illegal block.
Gas back on now. I was going to say they've had Gas and Roth sitting on the bench getting some rest. But Jared back on with 2:20 to play in the half. See if they try to get Storm a little more involved in the offense again. Odegaard on the drive. Dustin Odegaard, strong move to the hoop, his first two.
Odegaard taking what the defense will give him. You saw as DeSmet almost got the double team there, but one of the defenders broke off and Odegaard went in for the layup.
Gas turnaround 10-footer. Schultz on the tip. Skyberg and Schultz. Schultz comes away with it. And Skyberg for three. Long rebound to Schultz. The Milbank big man Davis is on the bench right now.
Milbank doing a good job in moving away from the ball. You see a lot of activity going on. Picking and rolling, trying to get open. Looks like Gas got away with a walk there. He switched his pivot foot, but no call. Milbank comes down with the ball.
Storm the other way to Odegaard, a blocking foul. Going to go on George Molnar on the drive. Storm really pushed it up quick that time. Beat the defense back. Molnar with his quicks couldn't even get back. Roth back on for DeSmet, and Davis is set to check back in for Milbank. And does.
Jeff Davis checks in.
Well, Milbank down big, but they're staying kind of even here over the last quarter or so. Last half a quarter anyway.
Picked it up a little bit on defense, and they've gotten a couple shots to fall. Unlike the first quarter, they couldn't get the shots to fall. They could barely hang on to the ball.
Volkin out again. 9 points for him, averages 12 at the 1 minute mark. Back within 13. They're chipping away a little bit. Need to make some of those little 4-0, 6-0 runs. Might be tough to do against the #1 team from DeSmet. Dustin Halverson is in for DeSmet. There he is. And they'll give it back to Molnar now and play for one. But again, I think we've mentioned it a few times. More than 20 seconds is tough to run off. They got it down to 20 now.
Steve, back up! Steve, back up! Back up, Steve! Right there! Now play him! Work it out!
Skyberg doesn't get the payoff. Little time left. Volkanat got it off early, and at the buzzer, it is a 13-point lead for the #1 seed, DeSmet. leads at 37-24. We're going to grab Marv McCune as they head to the locker room. See what he thinks of the first 16 minutes. John?
All right, Marv, Bulldogs quick out of the gate. You got an early lead. How do you think the kids are playing here?
Well, we're playing well. We went a little bit flat when we started making some substitutions there, and we have that problem because we're a big team when we start, and then we come in a lot smaller, and we have to run a different offense. But, yeah, it's nice to get off to a good start, your first ball game. But Milbank's battling back. They hit a couple threes just to kind of keep them in touch. I think every game started this way this afternoon and this evening, and all the teams are right there at the end, so it's going to be a tough ball game.
Kind of make it come back and get interesting. Spreading the scoring out a little bit. All 5 of your starters are in the books early, and also you've been banging the boards tremendous in that first half.
We really have. We talked about that, you know, and we haven't been rebounding as well as we should with our size, and, you know, our idea is to get out and run a little bit to try to get the big kid, Davis, a little bit tired, and we're able to do that. Got a couple steals early, but defensively and rebounding, you got it right on the knock there.
All right, Marv, good luck the second half. All right, Marv McCune, DeSmet Bulldogs, Tom.
All right, they have 9 points out of Corey Roth at the half to lead them, and other than that, 4, 5, 6 out of everybody else. Dan Volkenot with 9 at the half to lead Milbank, and DeSmet leads it at the half by 13. Back in a couple of minutes, we'll head down to Vermilion again on South Dakota Public TV.
And welcome back.
All right, we are having a good time back on the State Farm at the half, where DeSmet has a 37-24 lead on the Milbank Bulldogs. We're going to take a look at the Norwest board through the first 16 minutes of play.
When you take a look at field goal percentage, both teams shooting over 50%. DeSmet 56%, 53 for Milbank. Three-pointers about even as far as percentage goes. Free throws 75% from the line from Milbank. For the free throws are 3 for 4, 3 for 5 for DeSmet, and the rebounds pretty even, but the story of the game right there is turnovers. 7 more turnovers for Milbank, and DeSmet has turned those turnovers into points. They were out in front big, and right now lead by 13. So we get set for a second half of our final game. Winner goes on to face Littlewood, beat Giant Eagle Butte in a thriller in that first game tonight. Final score 55-50. Custer and West Central will be in the other final tomorrow night. Custer almost let Harrisburg back, and Harrisburg almost came back to win that game, but came up 3 points short, 55-52 in that first game this afternoon, and West Central beat Scotland by a dozen, 70-58.
DeSmet, if you're wondering, right on Highway 14, about halfway between Brookings and Huron, or between Iroquois and Lake Preston, if you prefer. Milbank, way up in the northeast corner of South Dakota.
And they had
teams up there with Sisseton and Roncalli.
They had an adventure on the way out here yesterday.
Boyd Sussex said on a good day it's about a 7-hour drive to get from Milbank to Rapid City. It took them over 9 hours to get here on Wednesday for the practice session because of all the snow and ice on the interstate.
Good job by George Molnar right there leading the break. Saw Corey Roth breaking, and the big man, Jeff Davis, had his back to the ball. May have turned around and disrupted the pass, but instead picks up the foul. Check that, the foul goes on Dustin Hansey.
10 points now for Roth, first player to hit double figures for either team. He's got 15-point lead for DeSmet. And DeSmet just doing a lot of things right and not a lot of things wrong. Just 2 turnovers in that first half. I mean, that is scary when you consider how much they've been pushing it here. Molnar's been taking care of the basketball. Storm got knocked down on the shot. Couldn't hit it. Gas back the other way for DeSmet. Here's Roth. Kick out to Molnar. And the ball just flying around.
Keeps going back and forth. DeSmet passing up a couple wide open looks, but they're in no hurry to get a shot off. They're looking for the high percentage shot right there at the elbow. Nice shot by Todd Skyberg.
That was good offense. Had about 3 shots, didn't they?
Exactly. Work the ball around, and before you know it, you're standing there wide open. Milbank trying to play catch-up.
Molnar forces the turnover again. Comes out. It was off Dustin Hensey's leg. Boyd Sussex, just an exhale of exasperation out of him there. "17-point DeSmet lead. Molnar could probably take that 3 when he wanted, but he likes to pass it around, get it inside, get back inside to him. George Molnar can't get it to go, and Volkin at the rebound. Here's Storm the other way. See if Shane Storm, Milbank's leading scorer, can get it going. He averages 17, had 4 in the first half. Here's Storm to Odegaard. Nice job by Storm just to avoid the travel, but Milbank staying cool from the field. Roth inside. Davis came over, and the foul on Jeff Davis. Back to the line for Roth.
Jeff Davis doing all he can just to keep up with DeSmet, running back and forth. Did finally get down there, a step too late, got a hand up in the face of Corey Roth and picked up his first foul.
So Roth's hit his last 4 free throws. 12 points now for the big fella. Make it 13 and make it a 19-point lead. Matches the biggest lead of the ball game for DeSmet.
Milbank needs a bucket here badly, and there it is.
Boom. Shane Storm, first 3 of the ball game. He and Odegaard good inside, outside. And that Storm needs to get rolling for Milbank. Get him back in it here.
They got to step up their defense a little bit too, try and come up with some turnovers. They can't keep exchanging buckets with DeSmet.
Good hands by Hensey and almost off a Roth, but DeSmet will keep it. But you can certainly see how DeSmet went through a 20-1 season this year. A lot of talent, well coached, patient.
Don't make a lot of mistakes.
Made one there, and Storm comes away with it. Good save by Odegaard on the steal. Storm was looking inside. Schultz on the breakout and gets called for the travel.
Watch the quick pass down there, and the official thought there was some possession right there from Casey Schultz and called the travel. Milbank will keep the ball over their own hoop.
Storm again scoops and got a little too far under. Foul on the rebound is going to go on to DeSmet, though. Going to go on Corey Roth. Timeout on the floor. 4:58 to play in the 3rd quarter, and DeSmet up by 16. DeSmet crowd digging it. Their team up by 16 midway through the 3rd quarter. Milbank in the maroon. DeSmet, the #1 seed in the tournament, in gold. And from the opening tap, Milbank got the opening tap, but since then it's been DeSmet. Roth with another rebound.
Another thing DeSmet does so well is get a hand in the passing lane. They contest the pass so well. They come up with a couple of turnovers here and there. And
Shane Storm's kind of hobbled. He got knocked down again on that last drive. He's been on the floor about 4 times here in the 3rd quarter, and it looks like an ankle this time. And now it's really giving way on him.
Checking into the ball game, number 25, Steve Swanson.
Let's go now.
So another blow for Milbank.
First easy pass.
See how they respond here. Swenson comes back on to replace Storm in the lineup for Milbank. Volkinat on the drive, got his own rebound, got fouled on the way down. And I believe it's on Molnar. Second on George Molnar. Volkanot will play it in. Odegaard had it slapped away by Molnar that time. Looking back to Roth, and off of Roth's hands. Milbank will get it back. And again, staying even since that opening burst, but not able to make any runs where they can chop that lead down to single digits as we hit the midway point of the third quarter. Over on the Milbank bench, they've got Kane Storm's right shoe off. You can see it there at the top of your screen. Looking at that ankle. Shot by Odegaard wouldn't go.
Odegaard forcing it a little bit. He had the open three for a second, but DeSmet doing a good job in getting a hand out there. And kind of a bad shot by Odegaard.
Back to the zone for Milbank. At some point they might come out of that to try and force the issue a little bit. DeSmet will be content to play the perimeter pass. Look for Roth inside. Now they're going to try to pull him out of it.
Spread it out now.
We'll go man to man.
Now watch for the big man to post down when those defenders are spread out on the wing. For those quick passing by DeSmet. They did so well in that first half.
Molnar, good step in. George Molnar right at his average now with 7 points. There's Shane Storm. They're looking at that right ankle. Got the tape off, the shoe, the sock, and everything off. Trying to get him back in the ball game. Swenson's three was blocked by Skyberg. Todd Skyberg ahead of the pack. Excellent outlet by the Bulldogs.
Getting too easy again here for DeSmet in the late goings of the third quarter. It's how they started the game, just coming up with a pick, going in for a layup. Another turnover by Milbank, another layup for DeSmet. And there it is again.
Skyberg again. $11 now for Todd Skyberg on back-to-back buckets, and the biggest lead of the game now for Milbank, or for DeSmet, excuse me, 22 points. 22nd timeout for Milbank.
Boyd Sussex calling a 20. Try and stop that momentum, that mad rush by DeSmet, as they've seen too many times this year. With a lineup that big and quick, it's just tough to keep up with them.
So DeSmet kind of held the line, and now they're on a burst. That lead was hanging around 14, 16 points. Now up to 22. They're slapping some more tape on Shane Storm's right ankle over there on the Milbank sidelines. There you see him. Trying to get him back into the game. A guess would be that he just turned it, but not too severely if he's coming back in. 22-point lead for DeSmet. Odegaard's three short. Volkanot says thank you. And he is in doubles now with 11. But only 5 points here in the quarter for Milbank. Gass somehow got that thing to go in.
How did he get that to go in?
Sliced by two defenders. Had a terrible angle.
Just
still got it down.
Another side of that DeSmet quickness off the dribble. You look at Jared Gass. He's 6'5". He's handling the ball like a point guard.
And it just feeds on itself. That defense feeds off the offense. And vice versa, I guess. But you just get it rolling, and DeSmet's making steal after steal, shooting layup after layup. Mark Berger's on as Molnar gets a rest. Minute 15 to play in the third. Winner of this one faces Little Wound tomorrow night in the semifinals. Little Wound beat Cheyenne Eagle Butte in the first game tonight, 55-50. Custer and West Central moved on into the semis this afternoon. Custer beat Harrisburg 55-52. And West Central beat Scotland 70-58. Steal by Hensey. He's got Swenson running with him, but Hensey will take it all the way in and get fouled. No shot.
Hensey may have waited just a hair too long to get rid of it. He was thinking about taking the shot, but he dished it off instead. The foul's non-shooting foul, so the Bulldogs will inbound underneath their own hoop.
Now, Milbank doesn't score a ton of points on average anyway. They only average 56 points a game, but they've only been giving up 40-some points a game. Odegaard gets the hoop there. But still, it just seems like Milbank struggling offensively. And I guess they are still 25 under their season average with 1 quarter to play. There's the time remaining in the third. Gass unloads 3. Putback by Burgers won't go, but after 3 quarters, DeSmet extends its lead. And they'll take a 20-point lead into the 4th. The DeSmet Bulldog fan in the upper reaches of the stadium, the arena. And her team leading it by 20 as we start the final quarter. Here's Burgers, to Schultz. 34 is Derek Larson. And here's Jared Gass. Got some good rhythm on that one, but another offensive board for the guys in gold. Roth had that one blocked by Davis.
Davis thought he came down with all ball on that, but I think he bumped him with his body a little bit. Get a couple of big bodies going up. Bound to be some contact in there somewhere.
Roth making a living at the line now in the second half. 5 out of 5 from the line in the half. 6 out of 7 in the game. $14 points for Corey Roth to lead all scorers at this point. His Volkanot has been quiet in the second half. Just 1 bucket. And go for Davis. Volkanot cleans it up. Oh, that one rolls out. That's how the night's gone for Milbank. Right at the front of the rim, and it still wouldn't go down. Roth this time. Davis with the clean block. And Jeff Davis finally clears it out. Still, DeSmet with 2 shots on that possession.
They just wave after wave with these big guys banging the boards on the offensive side. A nice shot by Steve Swenson, his 8th point of the game.
He's giving them good minutes off the bench. Averages 3. He's got 8.
Here's a look at the numbers from your Norwest stat board from the 3rd quarter. Shooting percentages still well above 50% for DeSmet, 56. Meanwhile, Milbank's dropping a little bit, down to 43%. 3-pointers, both teams 4 for 11. Take a look at the free throws. Milbank 3 for 4, 7 and 9 for DeSmet. Rebounding fairly even, but there's a difference still in the turnover department. 16-6, 10 more turnovers for the Milbank Bulldogs, and they trail this one big.
Hensey couldn't finish it off. And a reach-in foul on Odegaard. Coming out of there. "22nd timeout called by Marv McCune. Just wants to get them all on the same page for this final push. 6:22 up on the clock. And his team in control at the moment. They lead it by 19.
So guys got to rotate where they're supposed to be. We got to get a more post out, Jeffrey. Let's go here. Relax and go get the ball.
Boyd Sussex is Mr. Intensity over on that Milbank sideline. Trying to keep his guys' spirits up. Keep them playing hard.
Okay, go get him. Go get him. Go get him.
Been pretty quiet here in the second half, though. We told them about trying to get it down on the post on offense, but they need a couple takeaways here defensively.
Number Lightning, go get it. Go get it. Go get him.
Gas inside, and Davis was swat again, but another body foul on Jeff Davis. Got some pretty good forearm on that one. Gas to the line. Couple here would put him in doubles. Skyberg back on, and that big three from DeSmet, whether you're talking B, A, double A, whatever, that's a very good nucleus of players. 10 points now for Gas. Roth has 14 and Skyberg 11. So the big three in double digits for DeSmet, 21-point lead. Shane Storm is still on the Milbank bench as Roth finishes that one off. Storm has the shoe back on. They taped up that ankle that was hurting, and he's got the shoe back on, but he's also got his shooting shirt on, and it doesn't look like he's coming back into the game. He's kind of kicking back on the bench over there.
All of a sudden, Jeff Davis began the half with no points and no fouls. Still yet to break into the point column. Picks up his fourth foul, and he'll sit down.
Tyler DeBoer comes on. Roth is trying to finish off. The old-fashioned three-point play. 17 points now for Roth. There is Shane Storm, and it looks like he's going to stay on the bench. In the Double-A playoffs tonight, Watertown beats Brookings 43-42. And O'Gorman over Roosevelt. Those elimination games, so Brookings and Roosevelt done.
Watertown beat O'Gorman badly in the first round by like 31, so they'll meet again.
Granite Valley over Yankton. And Washington rolls over Sioux Falls Lincoln 57-41 in the Double-A playoffs. And there again is Mitchell's Mike Miller. He and Florida win by 14 tonight in the first round of the Big Dance. 15.7 rebounds in that game for Miller. Dustin McCune back on for DeSmet along with Dustin Halverson. Mark Berger's also in there, the three seniors off the bench for DeSmet. Rebound and a putback for Skyberg. 13 now for Skyberg.
That was just too easy for Skyberg. Nobody put a body on him at all. The rebound came right down to him. It's just like in your pregame warm-ups. Nobody guarding you. It's way too easy.
Volkanot with the putback. 13 for him now to lead Milbank. His team still down by 24. Bergers got hacked on the way up by Hensey. That's going to be 4 fouls on Dustin Hensey. Starting point guard for Milbank. Two shots coming up for Bergers. First point of the ball game for Mark. Schultz back on. Hensey sits down with those 4 fouls for Milbank. Berger's got them both. And again, the biggest lead of the ball game for DeSmet, 61-35. Well, there's some of the only fans left in the building, but DeSmet's fans getting a charge out of this ball game. Their team up big in the fourth quarter, and they know they are moving on into the championship bracket tomorrow night.
Milbank just want to finish this one out strong and get a couple buckets here, make it respectable.
Strong drive again by Odegaard. Jared Dahl is also on now for Milbank. As Storm stays on the bench with that twisted or sprained right ankle.
Dustin Helverson knocking down 2.
His first point, so 9 players now have scored for DeSmet. Had Volkanot down on the block if they wanted him. Missed him that time. Here's Odegaard backing in, and Schultz got him. Two coming up for Dustin Odegaard. Milbank cleaning off the bench now. Shane Zemlicka is 51 checking in.
And Marv McCune doing the same. Jake Anderson in the game is DeSmet enjoying huge lead. We get ready to close this one out, and we got a foul. Dustin Odegaard. You see Odegaard with the wraparound right there. Son Derek Larson, who's in the game. Derek Larson, just 2 points on the night. Nice down the front end of a one-on-one.
19 foul on Milbank. 10 gets you into the super duper bonus where you get 2 for every shot. Jake Anderson battling on the boards, but he picks up a foul. So Milbank brings it back.
Forgets coming up after the game. We'll hit our Dakota Care play of the game and our American Dairy Association player of the game. Coming up at the conclusion of this one. Kind of having a good idea what the play of the game is. This one, if you've been sticking around through the onset. 64-37 now at 2:40 mark.
Out of the corner by Anderson.
See a lot of cold players into the game. Maybe a little cool from the shooting stripe.
Put back by Tyler DeBoer wouldn't go as we hit 2 minutes, 15 seconds to play. Some guys off the bench getting some good state tournament time for both teams. Larson with another bucket. 5 points for Derek Larson now.
And Marv McCune going to call a full timeout. Get some more players into the game as DeSmet cruising into the semifinals. Back after this.
Adam Levenow plays it in for Milbank. Tommy Krutner runs it up for the Dogs, and they are down big here in the fourth quarter. DeSmet is going to move on and play Little Wound tomorrow night in the semifinals. So Levenow will get the 1-on-1. Jordan Warney will play it in for DeSmet. To McCune, to Halverson. But DeSmet is going to go to 21-1 on the season. Foul on Jared Dahl. Marv and the boys pretty much had this one in the bag here most of the fourth quarter. And a 30-point lead now.
They pretty much had this one in the bag midway through the first quarter after that huge run, take a double-digit lead. Just never let up since then. Milbank just haven't been able to claw their way back into this.
It's just been bad news for Milbank. Lost their leading scorer, Storm. Went down with an ankle injury.
And you kind of wonder if he's going to be able to come back and play throughout the rest of the tournament down in the consolation bracket. Looked like he was in quite a bit of pain when they took the shoe off. And kind of have to wonder how much that's going to swell up overnight. So DeSmet and Little Wound. It'll be interesting to see how Jesse Hart and the boys play against DeSmet. Kind of a couple of different teams. Little Wound, they'll like to get out and run and gun, but DeSmet can run with them.
Shane Zemlicka with the hoop for Milbank. I mean, Little Wound kind of saw a team similar to DeSmet tonight with Cheyenne Eagle Butte. Kind of the same makeup anyway as far as the lineup goes.
Height, the quickness.
Warney with the hoop. He's got 4. And there's another big man in there for Milbank's Bulldogs. Sean Zemlicka, sophomore, off the bench.
Josh Palmer knocking down 2 as we come to an end here in our final game on this opening day of the State A tournament. Long 3-point attempt, grabbing nothing but air for Jared Dahl. See the time left in this one. As the DeSmet Bulldogs will let the clock run out. One more 3-point attempt. As Dustin McCune gets a hoop right before the end of the game, and that'll do it as DeSmet goes on and beats Milbank 74-39. DeSmet will advance into tomorrow's semifinals and face Little Wound Mustangs. DeSmet improves to 21-1 on the year.
And in the end, they get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 players in the scorebook. DeSmet rolls up 74 and wins at 74-39 over Milbank. Corey Roth with 17 points for DeSmet's Bulldogs. 13 for Dan Volkenot to lead Milbank. 8 for Steve Swenson off the bench. Let's check out our Dakota Care play of the game. And it came back in the first half. Corey Roth off the feed here from Jared Gass. And Roth goes up, takes a shot in the head, still throws it down with 2 hands, and that is our Dakota Care play of the game. DeSmet just kept it rolling after that, and they win at 74-39 over Milbank. Right now, we're going to do a little more business down in Vermilion. Let's see what's on John Schrammick's mind again.
Well, thank you very much, Tom.